what was the transitioning period? Like when you decided not you're going to go full time into property? Did you had any properties beforehand? What was the cash flow coming through that properties? So how did you make that decision?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So I didn't actually have any properties beforehand. The only property we had is the one that we lived in that we had bought. Okay. So property as a business was alien to me. We didn't have anything whatsoever. So in terms of transitioning, at the point that I actually found out about this, the training course was on a Friday and Saturday. And when I came back to work on Monday, the first thing I did was actually go on this amazing Rightmove website whilst I was at work. Supposed to be sending emails, doing work. So in terms of the transition from that period, because that was the back end of 2018, and the point that I actually left my job was December 2020. So it was actually 2 years before I actually left my job completely. But in those 2 years, I was actually working full time and building the business on the side at the same time. Yeah. So all of this was happening concurrently. It wasn't a case of just skip over to the other one. That period took a good 2 years before I actually did that.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. So you were doing it on the side, and then
Yeah.
that time came when you totally took that leap of faith and went full into property.
Completely. A leap of faith. We'll call it a leap of faith. It was more like a scream.
Perfect, nice. So what's next for Muzzy then? Muzzy has got 30 properties. Now, what's next for Muzzy? Is he going to continue doing this, or is he going to buy properties now? Or what's happening in Muzzy's world?
Interesting. So in terms of purchasing properties, we are purchasing properties anyway as well. So like I mentioned, the initial plan was let's get a few rent-to-rents, build the portfolio and build the cash flow so we can actually start buying the houses. Now, that journey was cut even shorter because we learned the concept of using this magical thing called OPM, right? Which is other people's money. So use other people's money to actually purchase property. So some of the 30 that we've got are actually our own houses. So we actually buy houses which we manage ourselves. We also manage properties for rent to rent, and we also manage other people's properties as well. So it's kind of like in 3 ways.
Okay,
Now,
nice.
what's next for Muzzy? The business itself, we got to a point now where it's kind of running itself. There's minimal requirement for Muzzy to be in there, even though I stick my nose in there because I just don't want to be left out. The business is not actually requiring me as much as possible as it did before. So we're looking to move into bigger strategies. So starting this whole process again, like the time that I first learned about rent to rent, taking myself through that process again with a brand new strategy and learn something else which is far bigger than what we were doing before. So that's what's next for Muzzy, and also doing a lot more of these events. I realized that one of my strengths is actually just sharing information and making stories out of it and making people understand in a certain way. So I'm looking to do a lot more of that, and hopefully that has come across with you guys and it's actually helped in any way.
Definitely it does. So we'll keep an eye on your social media profile now to watch the
Absolutely.
videos,
Absolutely.
all the celebrations which you will be doing, celebrating all the successes.
Yeah, I'm celebrating today. It's a success because I've done enough speaking event.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Nice. Anybody has any questions, or should I continue asking questions? It's your
No, yeah, people
Maybe
might
you
have
can-
questions. So guys, just unmute yourself and ask question.
maybe in the meantime you can, Muzzy, tell us which areas you operating for your rent-to-rent business.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So our properties are predominantly in the West Midlands. So for those that know the West Midlands in the UK, it's around the Coventry, Northampton, Birmingham area, and Nuneaton, and we're venturing out up north. I mentioned to you before the call itself, I'm actually in Chester right now, and we're scoping out different areas and looking at different strategies, all sorts of exciting stuff that we're working on right now. But our portfolio is currently in the West Midlands, and that's what we do for service accommodation predominantly.
Okay, perfect.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Nice.
No problem, no problem. Just checking the chats to see if anyone
Yeah,
has actually dropped any questions in there as well.
everybody are amazed by the amazing presentation.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes, that
For
sounds
Muzzy.
like Winnie.
Yes, hi, Muzzy. Have you ever had any, oh wow, in your property journey, have you ever had to feel that you want to go back at some point? Because sometimes I know you spoke about challenges and all that, and this journey is quite hard, definitely. Did you ever feel that way, and how did you manage that?
That's a great question, Winnie. Love it, love it. So, have I ever felt in my journey that I should just turn around and go back? Absolutely, absolutely. And those moments, they do show up sometimes, and it's like the challenges that you face evolve. They're like you get one challenge, you're like, okay, I've gone through that. I'm okay with that challenge. And then the challenges are like, right, let's give him something bigger, right? Let's see what else he can handle. And they just keep coming. And you get to a point where some of these challenges are like, really, is it really worth doing this? Like, is it really worth doing this? And what I actually did about it, Winnie, and the truth is there are things that still happen now where you think, do you know what, this is really difficult. What do we do about this? And you think back to when you just went to clock in and just switched off and clocked out, and magically money lands into your account every same day, every month, and you're just happy with it, you're just content with it. And I do actually remember those days sometimes. But it goes back to when I said you start with why. Okay, the first couple of slides of my presentation, you saw my family there. That for me is the reason why I continue to do this. The challenges that we face are going to get bigger and bigger, right? And we have this exercise where you gauge your challenge and give it a number out of 10, right? You say this is a 5 problem, okay? This is an 8 problem. This is a 10 problem. And what I've learned out of it is to be able to handle a 5 problem, you need to be a 6 person, right? If you're a 4 person trying to handle a 5 problem, you're going to be overwhelmed. And that's fine to be overwhelmed. It's just how you handle it. But the great thing is if you face a 5 problem and you're a 4 person and you overcome that, you then become a 6 person. It's just understanding that, okay, each challenge that you get is an opportunity for you to grow. Every time it's an opportunity to grow. It doesn't make it any less painful to understand that. You still go through the pain and you grow with it. But right at the back of your mind, you always want to remember why on earth you're doing it. Find that very strong, relevant reason to just you alone. And I found mine in the family that you see on the picture. Every time I face the challenge, it hurts. Yeah. You still feel that, like, you know what, why am I doing this? Okay, should I just go back to work? And then you sit down and remember why you're doing it to start with. And surprisingly enough, sometimes you just sleep on it. And you come back the next morning after being fired up and understanding why you're looking to do it. You start actually finding these amazing solutions. You know, it's like, oh, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that. In remembering your why, this is just my theory, by the way, it's not been researched. In my theory, the more you remember your why, the more you grow to become bigger than your problem. Yeah. The more you face that number 5 issue and you're a 4 person, reminding yourself why you're doing it makes you the number 6 person. And then you overcome that problem. If that problem comes back again, you're thinking, I can easily sort that. How many times we face a problem, you think this is huge, it's overwhelming, and you overcome it. 2 weeks later, it comes back, you're like, okay, and you move on, right? That's because you become that person. And I think the quickest way to become bigger than your problems is to remind yourself why you're doing it. I think that was a great question, Winnie. I hope that answers it.
It does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi,
No problem.
Muzzy.
Hello, Shelley.
I have a question. The time you started your journey, did any landlord pull out and take the flat from you?
You know what? That's a very interesting question. And say it's interesting because up until last week, if you had asked me this question last week on Monday, I would have said never. Yeah, I would have said never. No landlord has ever pulled out out of something that we hadn't actually agreed before. We've had landlords where we agree that you're taking on the property for the next 3, 4, 6 months, and it comes to that period and they look to take it back. Or landlords where we agree that we're going to try this out in this period, because service accommodation is it's a strategy that you can easily start and stop. Okay, so you have landlords that sometimes have the students finish in May and the students come back in September. So you take on the property at the back end of May, knowing that in September, they're going to have to switch it back to students again. So with those ones, it's because it's kind of like pre-planned anyway that they're going to be ending it. But we had never had a landlord who actually pulled that without us actually knowing about it. And it just came out of the blue. And it happened last week. Yeah. So just last week, we had a 3-bedroom property, which we've had, I think it's for about 9 months now. And with this 3-bed, we were looking to actually buy it as well. So it had actually agreed with them that we're going to buy this property at some point in the future. And we had agreed terms. We're just going to continue renting it out and actually buy it in the future. We agreed a purchase price at the back end of January. And they said, you know what, take your time. It's completely fine. This is what we're looking for. So you can continue renting it as we're discussing it. And I think it's about 2 months in, came back to us last week and said, the offer that you presented to us is lower than what someone else has come to tell us that they're happy to pay for. So can you increase the price? Of which we said, the offer you've been given was actually from an estate agent, not a buyer. An estate agent said that, oh, you can sell this house for this amount of money, which is higher than what we offer. And they bought into that, because an estate agent is going to give you a high number so you can actually go and sell the property with them. And it doesn't guarantee that anyone is going to buy that property at that rate. So I tried to explain that to them, to say that an estate agent is trying to move you over to them, and these are the benefits for them. And they said, well, no, because they said this is how much it's worth, we need you to increase the offer. Now, sometimes increasing the offer actually turns that from being a deal to not being a deal, and you need to be strong enough to walk away. It's not easy, and it wasn't easy for us last week when we were discussing it, but we had to walk away from it. But because we turned down the offer to buy it at their price, they pulled out of the rental and said, well, we're looking to sell the house, and if these guys are going to sell it for us, then we don't need you inside the property. So see you later. So that happened last week, Shelley. And how have we handled it? I think sometimes we worry a lot about what could go wrong, especially when we have 1 or 2 or 3 properties. And I've said this a few times to certain people. Sometimes the solution is to increase the amount of properties you have, because you can actually spread out the risk. Yeah. If that was the only property that we had, this would be a big problem, because where do I put the furniture that I've put in there? How am I going to make back the money that I'd actually put in there to start with to set things up? What could we actually do? Coincidentally, we were taking on a new property anyway. So at the point that they said, you need to leave, we hadn't bought the furniture. We literally shifted all the furniture from that property and put it into another one. And we continued moving on. Now, because I don't like burning bridges, I said, I really hope that someone buys the house at the price that you've been told, and hope everything goes well. If something goes wrong, please feel free to reach out. Do not use the agreement to try to force them to pay us back what we've paid in, or use the break clause or anything like that. It wasn't necessarily required. And like I said, the more properties you have, the more you can spread the risk, the more you can actually absorb financially and absorb some of the pains that you go through. So that's what happened last week. A landlord did actually pull out. I hope that answers your question, Shelley.
Oh, thank you, Muzzy. Yes. You were lucky all the time. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Great questions. Do you have any question in mind? Yeah, because rent to rent, it's not our focus right now, so nothing is coming into my mind. But definitely, I mean, there are these things you shared where I was completely unaware of these things about rent to rent.
Okay.
Because for me, like rent, the definition of rent to rent is like take a house on rent and give that agreed rent to the landlord. That's it. But the other things that you explained was completely new to me. So really,
Yes, that means
Yes.
someone's learned something.
yes,
Fantastic. I did say, even if you learn one thing out of the talk, I'm happy.
yeah,
Success
definitely,
right there.
I did, definitely.
Thank you for pointing that out, Barry. Appreciate it.
Definitely. So yeah, I think we got someone in the chat. Yep.
Thank you, Muzzy.
Thank you, Muzzy. Okay, I think that's all, and I think we have also finished our Q&A session.
So, Muzzy, one last thing for audience, if nobody has any question and if we are at our closing stages, how can anybody contact Muzzy?
Muzzy, Muzzie Nduna, Nduna, on every platform. There's only one Muzzy.
Yes.
So Muzzy is not yet that famous that there are fake profiles of Muzzy. Yeah.
Exactly. I haven't had people that steal my name yet. So Muzzie You go on YouTube, you'll find me blabbing on about this stuff. You go on Facebook, you'll find me there. Instagram, you'll find me there. LinkedIn, you'll find me there. Same name. You'll be able to find me. I'm very easy to get hold of.
Yeah, and I think he has already put his everything
Yeah,
in here.
there you go.
So,
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Yes, guys. So you can actually contact him on any platform and through Project Possible as well. So let us know.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So quickly, because we are at the end of our session. So for our next month, we will have Saj Hussain. And
I'm gonna laugh at Saj. I got to this platform before him. I'll tell him.
Yeah, I mean, people have already known him, his name, and he's like everywhere on the platform. So yeah, so we will have Saj, and yes, it's his website and also FB page. So guys, go ahead and check out his profile and how he does. And also for us, let us know how we did today, and also on every session on Project Possible. So here is the Trustpilot link just shared on the chat box. So go ahead and let us know about Project Possible. So we will get this, if there is any chance of improvement, we will implement this. For the achievement, this month we crossed 1,500 members on our Facebook Project Possible Club. So this is a group, guys, where you can ask the question, you can find out, any answers for your question. You can reach out to us, and also you can reach out to our experts through this platform. And our achievement for YouTube, we have crossed 11,000 views this month, and now we have crossed 480 subscribers. So have more than 100 videos on our channel. So for those 100 videos, we got 11,000 views. So guys, this is a really valuable content, and you can always go ahead and check out our YouTube channel, and also let us know if you want to learn more on on specific topic. Then we will create a video for you. A huge thank you, guys. Thank you, Muzzy, for sharing your experience and this golden nuggets to everyone. So really thank you, and I appreciate your time.
You're most welcome, and thank you very much for the invitation. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Muzzy.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Is it recorded?
Yeah.
Yes, it is, and you will receive the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. And yeah, for the next month, the event will be on 18th of May. So save this date, and we will see you soon.
And we are going to celebrate now,
Yes.
because it was an amazing amazing session. So time to celebrate, guys.
Yes, indeed. Let's go celebrate the success. Thank
Yes.
you very much,
Bye,
guys.
bye.
You
Take
take
Thank
care.
care.
you. Take
Cheers.
care, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.